Perfect. Here we go. 400,000 male and female college students who participate in college athletics each year. Out of that number, roughly 11,000 of the athletes don't even have a chance to win an NCAA national championship. No, it's not because they're not good enough or because they don't have a good enough program, but rather because the NCAA sold their rights away to play for one. The only division in men and women's athletics not to crown an NCAA national championship would be the first and most prestigious division of college football. You ask why then? The reasoning is pretty simple. The NCAA sells away the rights of a championship to an organization called the BCS. So a D1 college football player never has the opportunity to get a chance to hold up the beautiful wooden trophy that the champions of the NCAA hold up each year, such as in basketball. This is just an example of a trophy. A wooden one, I guess. As a student of KU, which is one of those leading competing schools in the Division I, NCAA, and as a representative of the elite, we are all being affected by this system each year. As a fan of the magnificent University of Kansas, but admirer of college football in general, I've felt it to be my duty to research and find an alternative for this system which cheats athletes, coaches, and fans each year. And through my extensive research, I have found a superb alternative to this system. With that being said, I say it's time to take the BS out of the BCS by integrating a playoff system into the NCAA National Football Championship. While researching, I've come across a couple separate playoff systems that could that could reformat the NCAA football postseason. These include the traditional playoff system and an integrated playoff system, which would take the best of both worlds from the BCS bowl games and also the traditional playoff system. First, the traditional playoff system in college football would allow for games to be played at the end of the regular season to determine national championship. The setup of the playoff system is pretty simple. A bracket, which would look something like this. A bracket of anywhere from 4 to 32 teams would be used, and each team would fight it out on the gridiron for a chance to play in the national championship. If a 16-team bracket were to be used, for example, it would still force teams to work extremely hard to earn a spot in the bracket and make it to a championship game. After the bracket size would be decided, the teams would then be ranked most likely by the Associated Press Top 25 and placed into the bracket by rankings. This method is very similar to which is used in the college basketball process. Following the placement of the teams in the bracket, each team would then play for their opponent in a single elimination style tournament. A single elimination style tournament is where if you lose, you'll be out of the game, but the winners continue on and play the other winners. As the team continued to win games in the playoffs, they would eventually make it to the championship game. The game every athlete dreams of playing in. In a 6-team scenario, this would give every single team the opportunity to play on the big stage, not just segregating the top-ranked teams. The playoff system would actually allow for there to be an official NCAA Division I National Championship of football each year. As stated by ProCon, the BCS and playoff comparison site I talked about earlier, the national champions and other major college sports are determined by the playoff system each year. Even the 140-plus teams in the NCAA College Football Committee compete in a 16-team tournament. Other than the advantages of the bracket and the setup of the playoffs, there are also a lot of strong reasons why playoffs should go into effect. As stated by the PR Newswire, a 2007 Gallup poll showed that 85% of college fans support a change to the playoff system of some kind. 69% of fans surveyed preferred the idea of a playoff tournament involving the top 4, 8, or 16 teams to compete to replace just the bowl games. Not only do the fans want the change of the playoff system, but big names such as Barack Obama, Urban Meyer, Mike Leach were in strong favor of the playoff system. Not only would the traditional playoff structure excel and be more favorable, but I believe that if it wouldn't be changed to a playoff system, you could take the best of both worlds and take the BCS bowl games and also a playoff system. This would be done by keeping the BCS organization. There would be a committee like there is now called the Bowl Selection Committee. This committee would select the top teams to compete in the bowls. But the teams that competed in the bowls would then therefore go on to continue in a bracket just like I showed you and play more bowl games. For the past few minutes, I've explained to you why the NCAA should put a playoff system into place. By using one of the playoff methods, either the traditional series or the integrated BCS series, the national championship in college football would be better off. There's a hard battle to fight, but the change is certainly something that needs to be done. So what do you say if you hate seeing not only college athletics, coaches, and fans in general get cheated? Then this has to change. So now's the time to kick the BS right out of BCS and change to a playoff system. Thank you.